Welcome back. We are now seeing in October BITFARMS posting more blue diamonds, which is a very rare chart pattern that is just, in the easiest terms possible, very, very, very bullish in this, as we are seeing all-time highs across the board in stocks, in cryptos. And we're also seeing, the likes of Raoul Pal potentially pulling back on his thesis that the 4-year cycle is now a 5-year cycle and that we're going to be going into the extended cycle as, this is the same things that we heard in 2021, even when the market was coming down. Some of the biggest YouTubers out here were saying that we had an extended cycle and that June of 2022 would be the top, but it actually was the macro bottom of the market. And we are also at the 18-month time frame after the Bitcoin halving, which shows this is historically the top of the market in not only just the past cycle, but the past 2 cycles. And so is this time different or is it not? In today's video, we're going to be exploring BITFARMS, the other Bitcoin mining companies that have pivoted to AI, and we have been telling you about for quite a while, saying these are very, very bullish. And we're also going to kind of talk about what is not bullish and some of those things that are not bullish, including MicroStrategy, which is now hitting the button on the ATMs, which are essentially them selling shares on the open market to buy more Bitcoin, as other Bitcoin treasury companies just keep losing value, like Nakamoto. So let's get right into it. And by the way, this is the Cryptoviser podcast. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We upload every single day to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of concepts, and a lot of investment analysis. Remember, these are just my opinions and analysis on the market. You can disagree. That's totally fine. But again, these are just my opinions. You can have yours. Let me know your opinions and thoughts down below. And while you're down there commenting, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. We're going to be starting right here with Raoul Pal, who's now saying, and by the way, if you guys missed it, just a few weeks ago, Raoul Pal said the 4-year cycle is now a 5-year cycle. Bitcoin should peak in 2026, probably in Q2. Now, again, in 2021, a lot of YouTubers, not Raoul Pal, but a lot of YouTubers were pushing this whole extended cycle concept. And I told my viewers, the 4-year cycle is the 4-year cycle because the 4-year cycle is based on the Bitcoin halvings. It's not based on how you feel about the market or the business cycle or anything like that. And so regardless of where you feel the market is going to go or peak out or top, I like to look at the historical trends because remember, the trend is your friend. So as Raoul Pal said that just 1 month ago in September of 2025, that the 4-year cycle is now a 5-year cycle, even though it can't be because the 4-year cycle is based on the Bitcoin halvings, but that's besides the point. Now it seems like Raoul Pal is pulling back a little bit, saying, quote, this is in a recent tweet from Raoul Pal. He said, I think it needs explaining that although I see an elongated cycle, it doesn't mean my analysis is right. The breadth and depth of the macro and crypto analytics framework I've added since 2021 is massive, and I'm happy with the probabilities currently, but things can change. At GMI, which is his investment company, we have done tremendous amounts of work on this at all the nexus of crypto and macro and the everything code. It's comprised of over 4,000 charts. And so literally with 4,000 charts, guys, you could literally say anything. You could say, well, this chart shows that we have an elongated cycle. This chart shows that we don't have an elongated cycle. And then you just pick one and tell all your followers, and they just keep chasing that carrot that's dangling in front of them. But again, we are here as investors, right? This channel is about investing. And part of investing is knowing when you need to exit. Knowing when, and by the way, I'm not saying exiting every position. Like we're going to be talking about in today's video, BITFARMS is printing blue diamonds, which are incredibly, incredibly bullish. And by the way, if you also go to my YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com/thecryptoviser and then click on the posts tab. Back in August, I posted this chart that shows double bottom was confirmed on the BITFARMS chart. Where is it? Somewhere here. Here we go, right here. I said, this was in August of 2025. I said, the cleanest chart I've ever seen. double bottom confirmed. And you can see very clearly on this chart that, I mean, this is the cleanest double bottom W pattern I've ever seen on any chart. And so far, it's I was correct about this. This was the double bottom. This was the macro bottom for BitFarms. And so it's not just BitFarms, it's Iris Energy, Riot Platforms, TerraWolf, all of the Bitcoin mining companies that pivoted to AI. Now we're going to be getting into that in just a few minutes. I just want to be clear, I'm not bearish on everything in the markets, right? I'm basically exiting my crypto positions over the last couple of years. And as I've said on this channel countless times, I want to be completely out of crypto by the end of this cycle. And in my view, we're at the end of this cycle. Okay. So the reason for that is to kind of reset and also focus on where the money is being made. Once everybody's in a trade, it's no longer a good trade. Everybody's in crypto. Everybody has access to crypto. Everybody's super bullish on crypto. We're at all-time record highs. And people are at the most bullish points that they've ever been in their sentiment on crypto, saying, no, Cryptoviser, we're not at the top. We're going up 5x from here. And it's like, we already went up 8x and the market is kind of slowing down in crypto. But again, this doesn't mean that you can't make money. And people think that I'm like, sell everything. No. That's not what I say on this channel at all. And we're going to get into that. But in crypto, generally speaking, the 4-year cycle is a 4-year cycle. And so we're at the stage where the top is being hit. And people don't agree, and they're saying, Cryptoviser, the top isn't hit. I'm like, we're literally at all-time record highs. We're literally at the top of the market. That doesn't mean we can't go higher. But if you're saying that we're not at the top of the market when we're literally at the top of the market, your opinion means absolutely nothing. Moving on, back to Raoul Pal's tweet here. And by the way, most of my viewers get it, right? But there are a lot of people in the crypto space that don't get it. I mean, just to give you guys an example, right? And we're going to get into, well, actually, we'll get into it in a little bit. But Josh, who's a big MicroStrategy investor, he just bought $640 call options on, or the strike price of $640 on MicroStrategy, which implies almost a doubling of the price as they continue to sell shares on the open market. That's where we are when people are the most bullish and they're making these weird, obviously crazy trades. This is the time to get the F out. Meanwhile, Raoul Pal said, I'm not a guru. We all need to take lifestyle chips off the table to secure our own future. I can't dictate that. In Real Vision 2, we will do our best to help as many people as possible, but we are not and will not be perfect. This is your choice alone, not mine. Only you can actually protect your own future and thus limit regret if the market reverses or even explodes higher. He said, I'm guessing I'll take 25 to 30% off the table into year end, but I don't know yet. It's based on my own circumstances, not yours, and it's based on my P&L and not yours. And also, don't forget that risk profile is different to mine. And I actually think this is good that Raoul Pal is saying this, because this is exactly correct, right? There's a lot of people who disagree with my thesis on this channel, and that's totally fine. You do what you want in your portfolio. People come on my channel and they're like, Cryptoviser, why don't you just sell and go away? I'm like, no, why don't you stop watching my videos and go away and keep buying? Because if you're so bullish, why are you not dumping your entire bank account into crypto? Because that means that you're not that bullish. That means that you are just saying that you're bullish because you want to exit whatever your position is at certain numbers, and you think that I have any influence over that. At the end of the day, your portfolio is your portfolio. You can do whatever you want in it, right? And I can do whatever I want in my portfolio. But the point is, the analysis is what we should be looking at. He said, I can afford to take outrageously concentrated risks, like having 80% of my liquid stack in SWI. And that would be a very concentrated risk in my view. Anyway, Raoul Pal said, but based on my work, I think SWI outperforms most other major cryptos. I'm not a maximalist, and my portfolio can and will change, but I will let you know if my analysis changes. SWI is not going to perform other majors. I mean, it has already, but I don't think it's going to continue to. But that's for another day, right? He said, my job for myself is to maximize profits with the best risk-adjusted returns. And I would agree. And so this is really important for you guys to understand. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Michael Saylor says. It doesn't matter what the president says about Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin, it's going to do what it's going to do. And it's going to follow the cycle based on it's following the cycle. It doesn't matter what the business cycle's doing. It doesn't matter if they're cutting rates. Cutting rates is not quantitative easing. And a 0.25% drop from the Federal Reserve is not going to do anything, right? And this is where people get messed up. They're not looking at the fundamentals. They're looking at the pumpamentals. Very big difference between the two. And by the way, Plan B is still talking about this failed stock-to-flow model, and it's failing again. It's failing again. Because according to the stock-to-flow model, in the previous cycle, we were going to hit $200,000 or $100,000. We didn't, and a lot of people got rug pulled from this. This failed chart. And here we are, another cycle in, and he's still saying ready for October and Moon-November and Bull-Sember. I mean, if you want to be in an echo chamber, yeah, go follow these accounts. But we're here to really analyze the truth about what these markets are going to do. And in my view, just people saying, well, Cryptoviser, the ETFs are coming, Cryptoviser, the SEC, yeah, these are all great things, but the cycle is the cycle. And remember, we have a US federal shutdown. This is stalling progress, and the SEC has gone dark. Banks and analysts are now warning about the shutdown and how this is going to affect crypto. People are like, oh, well, Cryptoviser, when the shutdown's over, everything's going to go back to normal. We're going to have all this bullish sentiment. Oh, not necessarily, right? So especially now that we're at the end stages of the cycle. If this happened earlier in the year, if we were expecting ETFs to launch at the beginning of the year, that would be bullish. But we're at the end of the cycle. And as I've explained, all of these products getting released historically marks the top of the market. But where can we make money? Well, there's a lot of areas to make money in the markets, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now, because that's what this channel is about, making money. And if you guys like making money, make sure you guys give the video a free thumbs up. Now, before we get into the BITFARMS double blue diamonds, I think that it's important to kind of prep this with what else is going on in the Bitcoin mining pivot to AI space. Iris Energy just announced a new multi-year AI cloud contracts. So essentially, Iris Energy, also known as IRIN on the stock market, announced at the beginning of October that it had signed a multi-year cloud service contract with leading AI companies for NVIDIA Blackwell GPU deployments. They recently expanded their AI cloud capacity and remain on track to achieve over $500 million in annualized run rate revenue for 23,000 GPUs operating and on order by the end of Q1 of next year. To date, customer contracts have secured 11,000 of the 23,000 GPUs, representing $225 million of the revenue for the AI cloud. And this is where the money is being made. Remember, I have a whole video coming out about the AI bubble. I would definitely recommend watching it. Because, yeah, AI isn't a bubble, but it's not going anywhere. And they still need the compute power. They still need the energy. They still need the infrastructure to run and build and grow and expand all of this artificial intelligence. And this is where the Bitcoin mining companies that have pivoted to AI are going to do very well. They're not even, BitFarms, their CEO literally said, we're not expanding our Bitcoin mining operations anymore. We're not buying any more machines. We're going straight into AI. And the Bitcoin mining operation is going to give us cash flow to, still earn money. And a lot of the Bitcoin mining companies are doing this. But again, the market is rotating. We're rotating away from crypto. The crypto market has sucked so much liquidity out of the markets over the last year, which we're going to go over with MicroStrategy and Nakamoto in just a little bit. But this is why these Bitcoin mining companies that pivoted to AI are doing so well. And BitFarms in specific is, in my view, highly, 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 highly undervalued. The most undervalued stock, and it continues to be and has been, even though it's already gone up 355% in 6 months, almost double, a little bit more than double in the last 1 month. And the reason it's going up this much is because it is undervalued, and they do have the infrastructure. There's been some things that have been running against BitFarms, like it's not a US-based company. They had a lot of overseas mining facilities. But they've been pivoting and they have been working on this, and they may not have contracts yet as of the time of me making this video, but the market is pricing in that these AI companies will need the infrastructure and they are investing. I mean, literally the chart is showing you this. So this company is about 3 billion Canadian, which is about 2 billion US. And most of the other Bitcoin mining companies are approaching the 10 billion or over $10 billion market cap range. So if we just do the math and say BitFarms is at least a double-digit billion-dollar company, right? So $10 billion, that's about 5x from here. Maybe a little bit less than 5x, maybe 4x. We'll just say 4x for, because I don't want to do the math on converting this into US dollars. So we'll just say 4x. That means from the current levels of 344, let me just make sure this is up to date, and it is. All right, so $3.45, and we multiply that by 4 to bring us to $10 billion. That puts us at a almost $14 valuation for BitFarms. At a minimum, just at $10 billion. There's no dilution going on here. In fact, BitFarms is doing stock buybacks, not selling shares on the open market, which some of these other companies are doing, or they're doing acquisitions in all stock deals. But the bottom line is, I don't think that we're too early. Listen, yes, the stock has gone up already significantly, as has Iris Energy, as has Riot Platforms, TeraWulf. But remember, Google just took a 15% stake in TeraWulf and signed an 80-year lease agreement with them. They just did that. And most of the market, most of the people in crypto, they have no idea. They have absolutely no idea because they're focused on MicroStrategy and they're focused on Bitcoin and Aave and, Solana. We're going to talk about these in a little bit. That's what they're focused on. When they start to realize the market is tanking or at the end of the cycle, they are going to rotate. And when the market rotates into these winners, which the market's already doing, I mean, we could see that from the charts. What do you think is going to happen to the stock prices? I mean, I think Iris Energy is the most valuable right now. Yes, $16 billion, right? And by the way, this is up from about $6. So it's already 10x'd in just the last 6 months. And they have the contracts, right? BitFarms doesn't even have a contract yet. And for us to believe that they're not going to have a contract when demand is so high and supply for energy and AI infrastructure is so low, I mean, again, a $16 billion valuation, that would be an 8x. So if we do the math here, 345 times 8, it's a $27 valuation. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Could it happen? Absolutely. And that is where the blue diamonds come in. Wayne Liang, who is basically a market investor, about 40,000 followers. He said 2 new blue diamonds have posted on BitFarms. If they're validated and stay after we close, we're shooting straight to about $7. Bonus points if we close above the resistance. Congratulations to those who bought the dip. Like I said, those who listened will be rewarded. And if you go to my channel, okay, again, I did say in August that this was the cleanest double bottom ever, but people say, Cryptoviser, you're saying it's the end of the cycle. What are you talking about? I'm like, listen, I can't help everybody. I'm here to provide my analysis, and you can either agree with it or disagree with it. Either way, I'm going to do what I'm going to do in my portfolio, right? And so if you look here, I think I definitely have BitFarms will hit $20. By the time you're watching this video, there will already be another BitFarms video out. I think it was already out. The thing is, YouTube is letting us test different titles for the videos, and they all run at the same time. Yeah, right here, BitFarms AI Powerhouse. Definitely recommend watching that video. I have another one coming out saying buying the BitFarms dip. BitFarms is better than Iris Energy. These videos, I clearly lay out, right, the bullish sentiment around BitFarms and that people are waking up to how undervalued it is. Because when they look at Iris Energy, they're like, it's already double digits. When they look at Riot Platforms, it's close to double digits. If they look at TeraWulf, it's close to double digit in terms of market cap, right? And BitFarms is the most undervalued. And so that's where the market is rotating to AI and AI infrastructure plays. Now, again, like I said, there's a lot of people who are like, but Cryptoviser, what about Solana? What about Solana? Well, what about Solana, right? Solana has already hit all-time record highs multiple times. Uh, they've brought us meme coins, celebrity coins, the Haktua coin, and that's pretty much it, right? There hasn't been any groundbreaking technology that has been, this is why people are rotating into AI. Okay, this is why I want to be out of crypto, because crypto is, I mean, a lot of it is a grift, guys. It is really just a grift. There have been so many of these projects, and I'm not saying every crypto, right? But there have been so many projects out here that have been promising, or the community has been speculating on shit for years. And we're not even close. Some of these projects still don't have interoperability. Some of these projects still don't have any real world use cases or any companies using the technology. Some of them don't even have stable coins on them, right? And so what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? If you look at El Salvador and their Bitcoin usage and adoption, I mean, it's riddled with so many issues that have come up. And granted, obviously, implementing new type of money is going to have issues, but nobody's really using Bitcoin for payments. Nobody is paying for coffee with Bitcoin. Like, it's just not happening. There's like maybe 50 people in the world that are doing this. So even Bitcoin, right? It's a store of value. It's going to appreciate. It's anti-inflation. Like all of those things are there. But from a technological standpoint, a lot of these coins, a lot of these projects have just been absolute grifts, just BS. And so they're still trying to legitimize a lot of it, right? I mean, here we have the Bitwise chief investment officer saying Solana is the new Wall Street. No, it's not. Nobody's using Solana on Wall Street. Nobody's tokenizing on Solana. And if it is being tokenized, it's very, very small. Most Robinhood, they're using Arbitrum. Most use Ethereum. Nobody is using Solana. They're potentially pumping Solana because they have investments in it, or maybe they're using it. But generally speaking, Solana was used for celebrity and meme coins. That's it. But Wall Street is like, oh no, it's the new Wall Street. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then we have what just has been recently going on with Aster and Hyperliquid, right? These are perpetual dexes. Like the whole point of perpetual futures is to manipulate the markets, the derivative market. That's what happened with FTX and Alameda during the previous cycle. Just look at Internet Computer. It went from $700 down to $2 because FTX had it listed on perpetuals, but they didn't list it on their exchange. Look at NFTs. NFTs, people were paying supposedly millions of dollars for a JPEG of a monkey. And now they're worthless, effectively. I mean, there's still $30,000, which is ridiculous. But a lot of that was because of wash trading. And so now DeFi Llama flagged Aster and removed Aster. They delisted Aster's volume because they say that there's wash trading going on. And so this is the CEO, I think. Oh, the head of growth at DeFi Llama explaining why they did this. Let's listen in.
So first off, I'll say is that DeFi Llama delists pools or removes volume related to wash trading all the time. And so basically what happened with Aster was the volume exploded to the point where it was in many days on par or greater than Binance itself. It's the vast majority of perp stacks volume, which is fine, right? I mean, that happens. Products have their breakout moments. Problem with Aster's specific case was first it had some unusual correlation to volumes on Binance itself. In some days it was, or not some days, overall it was some pairs 0.95 correlation coefficient, which for people who took intro to stat is like extremely high. Basically what happened was like it triggered some of our flags that there could be significant wash trading. And the problem is that there's actually no way to track the data for Aster on chain. It's tracked through their API. And so we've been in talks with the Aster team before this, still are in talks with the Aster team. We inquired whether we could run a node to check the on-chain data ourselves, and we're told there's no way. But basically, the only data that's available through...
Think about that. There's no way for them to run a node to validate the information. Again, like the crypto community wants us to believe that we're trying to legitimize this whole crypto ecosystem. And then you have this new perpetual DEX that is exploding in volume. And the experts here that look at this data across all of the different chains are saying this looks like wash trading, which is fake trading. This is the same thing that happened with NFTs, guys. Same exact thing. And what did the NFT craze mark in 2021? The top of the altcoin market, right? Most altcoins popped up in September of 2021. That was the top of the market. That was the top of the market. And what also popped up then? NFTs. And people were selling and buying NFTs for millions of dollars. Like, think about that, right? People are like, well, I own it. It's like, no, I just right click and saved it. No, you don't own it though. And I'm like, no, I right click and saved it. It's the same. I copy and pasted. I own it now. No, you don't own it. I own it on chain. It's like, that's what you paid millions of dollars for, right? Nobody was actually, I mean, there were people paying millions of dollars, but most people were not paying millions of dollars. It was wash trading. I set up a wallet, I bought it from myself, and then I set up another wallet, I bought it from myself, and then I set up another wallet, I bought it from myself, and I kept pushing the volume up. It was all fake, wash trading. And that's what DeFi Llama believes is going on here with Aster. So if it's happening with Aster, where else is it going on? These are top of market and end of cycle kind of situations. This doesn't happen in the bear market. It doesn't even happen in mid-cycle. It only happens at the end. This is the euphoria in the market. People are going to say, Cryptoviser, you're just spreading FUD. There's no wash trading going on. I'm like, yep, that's euphoria. When you can't even see what the market is doing, when it's so clear what the market is actually doing. You don't own my NFT. I own the NFT. No, I right click and saved it. It's mine now. No, I own it on chain. It's like, nobody cares about that. You paid millions of dollars just so you could say that you own it when literally people are copying it. It's the same thing. It is the same exact thing. And then we have Robinhood's CEO on Bloomberg saying real estate tokenization is a freight train. We figured out how to do it. We're just waiting for regulations. Trillions are coming. That's what we keep seeing. It's happening. Trillions are coming. It's like, no. We have to get through the regulatory hurdles first. And if you think that the traditional banking industry is just going to let everything get tokenized and they're not going to be part of that and they're not going to try to make money, they're not. They're going to try to put up as many roadblocks as possible to make it as hard as possible for this to happen, for real tokenization to happen. Now, it is happening, right? Like Chainlink integrated with Swift, which is the banking system for the world. And these are very positive sentiments. But they're testing right now, right? They're integrating and testing. To see full integration, this is going to take many, many years. And so this is where we have to be a little bit more patient and pay attention for the next cycle. That's what I'm looking forward to. 2028 cycle. MicroStrategy didn't buy Bitcoin at the beginning of October, and the stock is gaining. And why did the stock gain? Well, I want you guys to think about this. Almost every single time MicroStrategy has purchased Bitcoin, the price has either stabilized or went down. Now, they didn't make any purchases in the beginning of October, and Bitcoin hit all-time record highs. And so Bitcoin hit all-time record highs, and the MicroStrategy price went up, and then they started selling on the open market again. And so what happens there? Well, euphoria is in the market. We know they're going to keep selling on the open market, even if Bitcoin goes higher, right? Look at this chart. Look at this chart. This shows you over the last 6 months where Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are. Bitcoin is up 57%. MicroStrategy is only up 25%. Shouldn't it be up more? It can't be because they keep selling more shares on the open market. They're going to be compressing the MNAV. This is happening. And so we have the big traders like Josh saying, I'm not suggesting that anyone follows suit, but in the interest of full disclosure, I own MicroStrategy calls once again. He bought these on the day that MicroStrategy went to $350. And so he bought $640 strike price calls, okay, $46,000. There is no way MicroStrategy is going to go up to $500. There's no way. Even if Bitcoin goes higher, Michael Saylor is going to keep selling shares on the open market to buy more and more Bitcoin. The flywheel cannot stop. And so the price cannot continue to go up. Could it go up a little bit? Sure. But what have we seen with MicroStrategy's price? And by the way, you can see it on the volume chart. If you go to one of the data websites and you click on volume, you can see the volume here. Nobody's buying MicroStrategy to this level. This is Michael Saylor selling shares in the open market. If you look at the last 5 days, right? Low volume, low volume, low volume, low volume, and then boom, high volume. Why is that high volume? Because they're selling shares on the open market. Last week, there was no sales from MicroStrategy on the open market, so the volume was low. Now the volume's higher, I should say. It's because they're selling. Because as the volume's going up and the price is going down, that means they're selling, and a lot of selling. So that's where we are in the cycle. Predator said this: if you thought Bitcoin Twitter was a cargo cult, wait until you see the treasury stock Twitter. Not a single original thought to be found. And everybody's saying Stretch, which is another debt facility on MicroStrategy, is their iPhone moment. Everyone keeps saying it's an iPhone moment. It's the iPhone moment for MicroStrategy. Okay. Again, this trade is effectively over. And how do I know this? Well, what have I been saying on this channel for the last few weeks? The market is telling us it's over. And MicroStrategy, because they're the biggest, they're going to be the last to see the major declines. But if you look at Nakamoto, Kindly MD, now we're under $1. It keeps getting worse for Nakamoto. And why this time? Why? What happened now? Well, now they're moving their debt around again. So this tweet is from David Bailey, the CEO of Nakamoto. He said, last week we announced the redemption of our outstanding convertible debt as part of our larger effort to realign our capital stack. Today, I'm thrilled to announce what's next: a new letter of intent for a 5-year, $250 million convertible note and long-standing strategic partnership with Ant Alpha Global. So they closed their other debt, and now they are creating more debt as part of this flywheel where they get, right here, you guys can see this, yeah, where they had Yorkville Advisors give them $200 million in convertible debt. They just redeemed that in September. Then 2Prime, which is Coinbase lending, I think, gave them $203 million in credit facility. And then they're taking that and putting it into $206 million Bitcoin-backed loans. And then they're going to get a $250 million convertible debt. If you don't understand it, that's the point. As Jim Chano says, it's financial gibberish. They closed some debt, and now they're taking out more debt. And the market is calling bullshit. That's why the price keeps going down, because the market is sniffing the bullshit. And so effectively, it's over for Nakamoto, in my view. I don't even know how they're going to recover from this. And just a few days ago, we showed you Molly said this, basically the same thing, that this is really, really bad, the Nakamoto situation, with how they're doing things and taking out more debt. Again, at the end of the cycle, at all-time record highs, they're taking out all of this debt just to buy Bitcoin. They have no cash flow. They have no business. And so what's happening with Kindly, I think it's like foreshadowing what's going to occur with the other Bitcoin treasury companies, including MicroStrategy. Just a complete collapse of the MNAV, especially if the Bitcoin price goes down. I mean, we're at all-time record highs right now. But what happens if we go down 50, 60, 70, 80% in the price? People are going to say, Cryptoviser, that's not going to happen. Wall Street keeps buying. Well, we have the government shutdown. We have, ever-expanding debt. We still haven't even had the money printing. The Federal Reserve is sitting on their hands and taking their time. These are all net negative for the economy and for the price of Bitcoin. But a lot of people are just looking at today and saying, but Cryptoviser, we're at all-time record highs. You were wrong. You were wrong. You see, you were wrong. And it's like, okay, if you're looking at day-to-day, you are missing the effing point. Because we are looking at a 4-year cycle on this channel. And we are now at the end stages of this bull market, in my view. And so Nakamoto made this nice dashboard. Remember Nakamoto, they also own some Metaplanet. They own some of this other Bitcoin treasury company. But it's all just moving money around. And their MNAV is under 1 right now. And people are going to say, well, that was a good buying opportunity. Is it? Is it? And by the way, what happened to all of these Ethereum treasury companies? We haven't heard from Joe Lubin, haven't heard anything from Joe Lubin at all, from SharpLink. They bought the Ethereum, said that they're starting a company, pumped and dumped the stock, and that's basically it. Tom Lee, haven't seen him for about a week or two. What's going on there? And again, in September, Tom Lee's company is the only company really that bought any substantial, purchases in Ethereum. Now, people could be saying, well, they're trying to raise more money. Guys, everybody's trying to raise money. But are people going to be, like smart investors, are they going to be putting money into an Ethereum treasury company when they could just buy the Ethereum directly? Or are they going to put it into AI and AI infrastructure, like BitFarms, Iris Energy, Riot Platforms, TerraWolf? I think the answer is very clear. And what happened to Cantor Equity Partners? This was Jack Muller's company. Weren't they going public? Well, I haven't heard anything from them either. And the stock? Below where we were about 6 months ago. What about Anthony Pompliano's company, ProCap? I don't think that they merged yet either. And the stock also down fairly substantially from after the announcement. And by the way, they purchased at about $115,000, so all-time record highs. This is where we're at. I mean, even Raoul Pal is putting out hey, you may want to take profits off the table because we're at the end of the cycle. It's it. It's over. Anything that we see going forward is just volatility. And so I was correct in July. That was the top. That was the euphoria in the market. What we're seeing right now is just the complacency phase where people are like, you see, Cryptoviser, you were wrong. We just hit an all-time record high. It's like we hit $126,000. The previous all-time high was $125,000. That's what you're cheering about? So dump your whole paycheck into Bitcoin. No, I'm not doing that, crypto. I'm not going to dump my paycheck. Then you're not really that bullish. So if you're not bullish, you're bearish. No, Cryptoviser, I'm bullish. Well, if you're bullish, why are you not putting your whole bank account into the crypto? Because you're not that bullish. So you're bullshit, right? Anyway, listen, guys, these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think about where the market is, where the market's going. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. Check out my other videos on this channel. And more importantly, I am really interested to hear what you guys think about BitFarms and how high BitFarms is going, how high Iris Energy is going, TerraWolf, Riot Platforms. Let me know in the comments down below. Share this video with the other Bitcoin mining to AI pivot stock friends and groups that you have so that they can give their opinions down below in the comments. And I'll see you on the next video. Invest responsibly and crypto on.